Hey, what's up guys? Chief here, and in this video I'm going to give a quick explanation on something that a buddy of mine brought up from seeing my videos, and then to the main subject of the video. So a buddy of mine went onto my channel and watched my videos and said that I need to project my voice a little bit more, and that I need to remind people to give a like and subscribe if they want to. Uh, And so I was just thinking to myself, how can I start making videos and not say give a link or subscribe at the end of the videos like every YouTuber does? So that was a good one for him to catch. If he wouldn't have said it, it would have been a while before I really noticed it, not gonna lie. But as far as the voice projection goes, there's a few problems with that, why I can't do that. Um, First off, I only make my videos late at night, about 11, 12 o'clock. I'll be recording. That's because my children are asleep, my wife's usually at work, so that's really the only free time I have. Uh, and I have upstairs neighbors. I've got side neighbors, and I live in an apartment. And so I don't think they would appreciate if I was just screaming into a camera well past midnight. Hopefully next year, me and my wife are looking into getting a house. Because we've got two baby girls, we got another one on the way, and it's just that time. We don't want to spend the rest of our lives in an apartment. That's not what life I want for my kids or for myself in the future. So hopefully when that time comes, I'll have a little bit better of a setup, and I'll be able to do a little bit more than what I can now. And so the main subject of this particular video will be movies. Now, the reason that is because I was asking my wife what subject should I talk about next. She said she threw out movies, and I thought that was a good one because she knows how serious I take my films. I am a self-proclaimed cinephile, and before anyone starts calling the police, let me explain what that is if you don't. Um, which is okay. It's not a lot of people do, so it's no big deal. A cinephile is someone who just dives a little bit more into film than say the average moviegoer. You know, um, by that I mean I actually learn about the production of the video or the movie, how it was made, the actors that were in it, the directors, producers, and I just get more into the process of how it's made, rather than just watching the film on its own and saying, yeah, that was a good movie. I actually want to know more about it, you know. And I believe a good cinephile has a list of directors that they prefer. So let me just give you a quick list of the directors I prefer or care or like to watch, and a little bit of reasoning why. And if you want to, tell me a director that you prefer or a film that you like, really enjoy, leave it down in the comments. If you have different opinions or views, leave that in the comments as well, and I'll definitely get around to getting to it, and address it. All right, so first director. And just because he's first doesn't necessarily mean I like him the best, but this is just a, top five, I would have to say. Let's start off with saying Guillermo del Toro. And for those who don't particularly know who that is, let me just, a few films would have to be, you know, Hellboy 1, Hellboy 2, Blade 2, Pan's Labyrinth, just to name a few. And I'm pretty sure he directed Pacific Rim. Yeah, yeah, he directed Pacific Rim. And the reason I like Guillermo del Toro, is mostly because you can definitely tell it's a Guillermo del Toro film. And by that I mean he puts a lot of effort into the character's appearance to make him look more realistic, more believable. not so computer generated. No, I mean, he uses CGI like most, like all directors do. But when it comes to the character appearance, he uses mostly prosthetics, and I think that's awesome because a lot of people or directors nowadays just don't even mess with that because it's so much easier just to use CGI. So much easier just to use a green screen. And in some situations, yeah, it's the only way you can really project a character into a film. But Guillermo, um, he prefers to just make it feel like it's a real person. Like that's really how they look. Like watch Hellboy 2 would have to be probably the perfect example. And a lot of the characters in there, it that looks like their face. That looks like that's a real person, and I absolutely love that. All right, so number two would have to be Quentin Tarantino. And if you don't know who Quentin Tarantino is, a few films: Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2, Pulp Fiction, Hateful Eight, Reservoir Dogs. The reason I love his films so much is because the stories that he tell is just, they're amazing, outgoing stories, but they happen to ordinary people. That's what's amazing about it, is that they're not some ultra super uh, supernatural protagonist, that's destined, born to go on this great adventure. It's Joe Schmo, you know, that just happens to go through an extraordinary situation. And sometimes they come out on top, sometimes they don't. And all his films have that. All his films are like that, and I love it. He tells such an amazing story, out there story that just happens to ordinary people, and I think that's awesome. Okay, next up, this is kind of cliche, but I have to put him in here. It would have to be Steven Spielberg, and I don't really know if I have to give a reason for that. I mean, he's made so many legendary uh, cinematic masterpieces that it's impossible to just have one favorite. I mean, uh, E.T., Saving Private Ryan. Um, I'm pretty sure he directed, or at least co-directed, both the Bad Boys. Um, Jurassic Park, if I haven't said that already. And I mean, just to say the least, I mean, he's just an amazing, gifted director that just knows how to tell an amazing story. I mean, it's incredible the way that he can just project a story out there for really anybody to follow. You don't have to be an intellectual, uh, you know, to really follow the script. Which I guess a lot of directors, some directors try and do that to where you actually have to have some kind of intellectual thinking to really just get through the film, which I don't really care for because that generates it to one one group of people, and that's not how it needs to be. And that's what's so amazing about Spielberg, is that he can just tell the story in a way that everybody can follow. All right, so second up, Michael Bay. Now, Michael Bay gets a lot of flack for, being known for explosions, but that's just it. That's the beauty of it, is that he uses real explosions. I mean, of course, he adds a few touches here and there in the, editing process, but for the majority of it, it's not CGI. It's not computer generated. It's real fire and flames that this man works with, and he's got it down to a science. He's really, really good at what he does, and as a matter of fact, I believe he co-directed Bad Boys 1 and 2 with Steven Spielberg, and you can tell from those pictures in film that whenever a car explodes or a building's knocked down or something, that's real. That is happening to an actual vehicle, to an actual building, and those are actual flames. And he just makes it look incredible, and it's done with such precision that it's astonishing. I mean, and last and not least, uh, James Cameron. Now, James Cameron is in a league all his own, and I don't mean that as in he's better than the rest or worse, but that's because I generally don't really care for too much CGI in my films, to the point where I just feel like there's no human interaction or contact between the viewer and the character, which is really what you want to have a good film. You want to have those characters uh, be able to have the watcher submerge into them, to be like, hey, I can generally imagine, me being there, and CGI just doesn't offer that because the world's not CGI. And so James Cameron, I say he's in a league all his own is because he knows how to work CGI better than most directors out there. I mean, look at Avatar. I mean, still, after so many years, I think over a decade now, it is still an amazing film. I mean, it's flawless CGI, great storytelling, and the mofo made up its own language for the film. Navi, he made that up. He created. Oh, I mean, maybe not him alone, but I mean, it wasn't a language before the film. All right, and so just because I put them in that order does not mean that I like one higher than the other. Like I said earlier, it's just my top five. Um, so that'll be it for this video. I'll be making another one probably in a couple of days. But yeah, so give me a thumbs up, give me that like, give me a subscription, and I'm going to leave my Instagram in the description if you want to go on there and check out a few things that I do in my day-to-day life if you want. So yeah, Chief out.